Hello, very good evening to you. Welcome to Friday night's calendar.
Thank you for joining us, and these are tonight's main stories.
The ayes have it, and look!
A Yorkshire MP's bill that would legalise assisted dying for people who are terminally ill becomes a step closer.
We've reaction from both sides of the emotional and very divided debate. Also tonight.
Detectives launch a murder investigation after a young mother was rammed off the e-bike she was riding in a North Derbyshire village.
Sheffield MP Louise Haigh resigns as Transport Secretary after it emerges she'd made a false police report.
Daring to dream, Gainsborough Trinity aim to write tomorrow's sporting headlines by breaking a 138-year-old FA Cup record.
And what a sunrise this morning. I've got more of your photos and of course the forecast for the weekend a little later on.
Good evening. So it's been controversial, emotional and a debate that has been deeply divided. Today, in a historic moment, MPs backed a bill that would legalise assisted dying for terminally ill adults with less than 6 months to live who choose to end their own lives.
The bill was brought forward by the Spen Valley MP Kim Leadbeater. The vote to progress it to the next stage came after 5 hours of passionate debate, during which MPs shared personal stories, while those against the bill called for better end-of-life care instead.
Safeguards including a sign-off from 2 doctors and a judge, and prison sentences for anyone who abuses the law will now be scrutinised.
Our political reporter Charanpreet Kera has been following today's events.
The ayes to the right, 330. The noes to the left, 275.
The ayes have it, and look!
I can't believe it.
Jan isn't often left speechless. Today, she's lost for words.
I'm quite stunned.
Jan's husband Mark had Parkinson's. When he got to a point where he could no longer live how he wanted, he chose to die, travelling with Jan to Dignitas in Switzerland.
He didn't know and would have been horrified at the fact that I had to suffer a police investigation as a result of going to Switzerland with Mark. And I just hope that that puts an end to the awful, awful things that happen to people who want to be compassionate towards their own loved ones.
It's not often MPs vote on matters of life and death, but today they did.
Today we have a resounding victory of choice and compassion.
Josh's mum Lisa took her own life this summer. Like him, she had Huntington's. This result brings him a step closer to choosing a different end.
My stepson will not have to go through the trauma of finding me dead. He won't have to see me end my own life.
Josh's story is one of many that persuaded Kim Leadbeater to bring this bill to Parliament.
How did you feel? Overwhelmed. There's people across the country who are facing the inadequacies of the current situation, and I firmly believe we've got a duty to do something to help those families and people like Josh.
5 hours earlier, she was making the case for her bill, admitting this vote would put Parliament to the test.
But if any of us wanted an easy life, I'm afraid we're in the wrong place.
Where she led, others followed.
Today I find myself voting in a way that I thought I never would.
But some, like York Central's Rachel Maskell, feared Parliament was missing the point.
With just 17 days since publication, this bill has consumed us. Instead, our focus should be on getting palliation right.
At final count, 330 MPs voted in favour, including former Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, while Stephanie Peacock and Robbie Moore were among the 275 who voted against. Sharing their concerns, Doug Pawley from Wetherby.
I have every belief that people who could have a quality life, if assisted properly, will be dead.
What happens now?
Well, I guess we have to fight. There are so many things that we have to fight about, but I think, unfortunately, for the next few months, we're going to be fighting to some extent for our lives.
Both sides know this is just the start.
Assistance to live!
And with so much at stake, Neither is giving up without a fight.
Yes, a really important day. So a crucial question now, really, Charanpreet, is what happens next?
Well, Lara, before this bill can become law, there are a number of hurdles to overcome. First, it goes to committee stage, where it's scrutinised by MPs, then report stage, then back to the House of Commons for the third reading, at which point it could be defeated, although that is very rare, then back over to the House of Lords. Who knows what they'll have to make of it? Some have criticised this bill for being too fast. In reality, this process could take more than 6 months, and even then, it'll be 2 years before assisted deaths can happen.
Charanpreet, thank you. Live in Westminster for us tonight. Thank you very much.
A young mother has died after being rammed off an e-bike in what police have called a hit-and-run murder on a country lane near Chesterfield.
Alana Armstrong died at the scene near the village of Plessy on Tuesday night. A man in his 20s has suffered life-changing injuries.
Michael Billington has this report from the scene.
Alana Armstrong was just 25, a mother to a 6-year-old boy. But on Tuesday night, she was knocked off the bike she was a passenger on and left in the road where she died.
This is Alana. A little boy won't see her again, and her family are grieving the loss of a much-loved daughter, sister and niece.
This lunchtime, police went door to door near to the scene on Batley Lane near Plesley in the hope of finding any clue as to exactly how, why and by whom she was killed. Police say Alana's bike was rammed around here after being pursued by the Land Rover through a nearby village. It then drove off and was last seen around 2 miles away before it turned right towards Mansfield.
We know that there were 2 people in the Land Rover Discovery, which was dark coloured and was manufactured between 2004 and 2009. And that night, it was a man behind the wheel and there was a front seat passenger. We urgently want to hear from anybody who may know these 2 people.
Alana's bike was being ridden by a man in his 20s. He was seriously hurt, his leg amputated below the knee. 2 people have been arrested and released without charge. Police now desperately hoping someone may hold the key to catching the driver who left Alana for dead. Michael Billington, ITV News.
Yes, let's hope that they're able to. A case of the infectious disease Mpox has been detected in Leeds. The person who recently returned from Uganda is now under specialist care at a Sheffield hospital. It's the 5th case of Mpox to be found in the UK in the last month. The UK Health Security Agency says the risk to the rest of the population remains low.
Louise Haigh, one of Sheffield's MPs, has resigned as the Transport Secretary after it emerged she was convicted of misleading the police over a stolen mobile phone.
Her Sheffield Heeley constituents woke up to the news and some said they were baffled about what appeared to be no more than a mistake. Now, it happened back in 2014 before Ms Haigh became an MP. Katie Oscroft reports.
Louise Haigh heading for number 10 the day she became Transport Secretary.
It is a true honour to be the first Sheffield woman ever to serve in the Cabinet.
No hint then that only months later she was to be shown the door after offering her resignation. In her Sheffield Heeley constituency, businesses on the same street as her office count her as a customer. Erica does her MP's brows and lashes.
It helped us out in lockdown and tried getting us back open because we were one at last to open, so she really fought for us to open back up again.
So what do you make of what's happened today?
I mean, I don't really know the full extent of it, but I feel like it's just a little mistake that doesn't sound like it were her fault, and I feel like it's wrong that she's getting judged for it.
There's loyalty in Tony's takeaway, the closest place for the Labour MP to get her lunch.
She was quite health conscious. She was always having something light, and she never had anything like bacon or breakfast or anything, but she was there for us, anything we wanted.
And up the road, the support from Adam in his coffee shop.
She always seems really passionate about what she's doing. I know she's well liked around here. If she feels like she wants to resign, then okay, fine, go Louise. But if she feels like she has to resign because of something that, from what I've heard, sounds quite silly, then I think that's really sad.
But she did go, penning this letter to the Prime Minister, explaining the incident 11 years ago, reporting her stolen phone to the police, but not coming clean when she found it later. Keir Starmer's reply is short and to the point. The now former Transport Secretary's constituents had more to say.
To me, it's such a long time ago, and I just think it's a bit harsh, really.
Was it a genuine mistake? We don't know, do we?
She was right to resign because it's something that, if you're in any ordinary job, you'll probably be expected to resign as well.
Secretary of State.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Louise Haigh has already been replaced by Heidi Alexander, the MP for Swindon South. It's not clear about whether there will be more to tell about why she left in such a hurry. Katie Oscroft, ITV News, Sheffield.
And this is Friday night's calendar. Stay with us because still to come.
Well, they're on their 29th sound check right now, but in a little while we'll meet the Leeds band determined to put the city and its venues on the musical map.
Thank you, Helen. Now, the Christmas party season has started, and with it, of course, the temptation for some to drive after drinking. But we're being urged not to by a woman whose sister was killed by a driver high on drink and drugs in Harrogate.
Angie's sister, Carol Jones, had been walking to work when she was hit by the drunk driver in 2016.
In the hope of preventing more deaths, Angie is now helping North Yorkshire Police crack down on drink and drug driving. Now, there are some flashing images coming up because our reporter Jonathan Brown has been on patrol with one of their traffic constables in this report.
I'll keep hold of the device. All you need to do is take a nice deep breath.
They are tests that could save lives, taking drink and drug drivers off our roads.
Keep going, stop.
As the festive season looms, police in North Yorkshire are making their presence known, stopping people they believe could be over the limit.
People are obviously having Christmas parties and every year people seem to think that they're going to take a bit more of a risk.
It must frustrate you.
Yeah, it is very, very frustrating. They're the kind of people that we're looking to take off the road.
We've joined Chris on a nighttime patrol of Harrogate. For him, the motivation comes from experience he'd rather not have to relive.
I was at a collision not so long ago where somebody was under the influence of cannabis and they caused somebody to die, and then I had to go and tell their partner that they weren't coming home anymore.
Is that in your head when you're out on patrol like this?
100% that's in my head, yeah. Look at what could happen here. It's something I'm always thinking about and always kind of conscious of, yeah.
And it's those conversations that stay with loved ones even more.
He'd come to tell us that Carol had been killed.
Angie's sister Carol was hit by a driver who was high on alcohol and cannabis and travelling at 60 miles per hour through a red light one Sunday morning in 2016. The driver was jailed for 5 years and 9 months.
We'd never expected that kind of a thing to happen to us, but yeah, for somebody to be out under the influence of drink and drugs and not really care about anybody else on the road, and he just took her away from us. Please don't do it, because we're still living with the consequences of one person doing it, 8 years later.
Angie's featuring in North Yorkshire Police's Christmas Drink and Drug Drive campaign video this year.
Every year now, there's an empty chair at my Christmas table.
Her story resonating with people in the force, in part because on the day she died, Carol was on her way here to Harrogate Police Station, where she worked.
There was officers from here who worked with Carol turning out to find her dead at the scene. It's devastating. I think the message we want to get across to people is, yeah, it's personal to us, but it could be personal to anybody. We can't be everywhere, but we could be anywhere. And we will be taking robust action against people who drink or take drugs and drive.
The Christmas campaign comes after 136 drivers failed alcohol or drugs tests in the Force area last year. That's an increase of almost 7% compared to the same period in 2022. Well, this is our fourth traffic stop of the night. We've seen drivers without insurance, cars speeding, and we've even seen a car seized. All of the drivers have been breathalyzed and all have come back negative. But it's hoped just conducting these tests in the first place will discourage people from driving under the influence. So as the likes of Chris keep their eyes fixed firmly on our roads, they are warning that these flashing blue lights could soon be in the mirrors of those willing to risk lives. Jonathan Brown, ITV News, Harrogate.
Right, time for a look now at the sport for the weekend.
Xero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
And Chris is with us in the studio. Good to see you, Chris.
And you?
Big night, big weekend for football kicking off tonight.
Yeah, all kicks off tonight, Lara. History-making night in the FA Cup. We'll get onto that in just a moment. But first, there's a mouth-watering clash in the Championship as second-place Sheffield United welcomes Sunderland, who are third. Following their win in midweek over Oxford, the Blades are now unbeaten in 6 and looking well placed for an immediate return to the Premier League. Manager Chris Wilder is expecting a cracking atmosphere at Bramall Lane tonight.
Full house, I should imagine, full away support, passionate, vociferous away support, which always gets our punters going as well. And it's going to be a game against two teams who'll go and want to win a game of football. So really looking forward to it. And we need a big performance individually that hopefully leads to a team performance and hopefully leads to a big 3 points that we're after.
Meanwhile, as I mentioned earlier, FA Cup history could be made this evening. Gainsborough Trinity of the Northern Premier League. That's the 7th tier of English football, are aiming to reach the 3rd round for the first time since 1886, before even Ian White was born. Standing in their way, a League Two side, Harrogate Town. Arif Ahmed has the story.
We're posing for new headshots this week.
Perfect.
As the lowest ranked team left in the FA Cup, they'll have to be picture perfect when they take on Harrogate Town tonight. A team 3 divisions and 72 places above them in the league ladder.
The place is buzzing. It's you know, you see people in the street and congratulating you, and you know, just hoping we can get to the next stage, because if we do that and do pick up one of the big boys, you're talking then serious money, you know, that can help the club moving forward.
Gainsborough's first round win was one of the greatest comebacks the competition's ever seen. A last-minute thunderbolt from defender Will Lancaster saw them come back from 3-0 down. The game eventually won after a marathon penalty shootout, Trinity scoring the game's 19th and decisive spot kick.
Have you scored a better goal in your life?
No, I don't score many, to be honest with you, so that was just one of them. Normally, when I scored the week before, it's like an header from 6 yards. It's not quite the same, but yeah, that was unbelievable. Just that feeling and that. Yeah.
John Goddard's been supporting Trinity for 80 years. The lifelong fan has seen it all over the decades and is one of the few that remembers the last time Gainsborough reached the second round 72 years ago.
We lost 2-1, and a bit unlucky there. I wasn't there at the match. I say, I used to work on the Saturday, so I heard it on the radio, and it was good, and it was, you know, we was there and was in it right to the last bit, but we just didn't make it. But let's hope we can make it on Friday.
How's the pitch looking, Woody? What do you think?
Dave Horsley's been the chairman here for just under a year. The club, though, runs through his family's veins. His uncle Stuart was club president before he died 3 years ago. One of the stands at Northholm now bears his name.
How proud will your uncle be to see you as chairman and Gainsborough Trinity in the second round of the FA Cup for the first time in 72 years?
Yeah, he'll be. I'm sure he'll be there on Friday night, looking down us in spirit, and he'll be willing us on. Yeah, definitely. He'll be very excited and proud. Yeah.
With plenty of hope and belief around at this time of year, the Holy Blues hope they'll be able to deliver some early festive cheer. Arif Ahmed, ITV News.
OK, finally from me, former Leeds Rhinos captain Kevin Sinfield gets his latest fundraising challenge for motor neuron disease charities underway on Sunday. Inspired by his friend and former teammate Rob Burrow, who sadly passed away from MND last summer, Kev so far raised over £10 million. This, his 5th challenge, will see Kev run over 50 kilometres every day in different parts of the UK. Well, earlier on I spoke to Kev and started by asking if he's ready to pound the pavements yet again.
You never feel ready for it, Chris. I feel like I've done a heap of training, which has been pretty brutal. But yeah, I'm as ready as I can be. The team have prepared really well. The logistics and plans we've got in place have gone up another level this year. So yeah, I think I'm ready.
tough physically, but I imagine mentally as well, because for the first time in, 5 years, you're not going to see Rob en route as well.
Yeah, and I won't be getting his nightly text messages either. So I'll miss his humour. You know, I miss him every day. So, but clearly, he'd want us to continue this fight, and it's important we do. So we certainly represent Rob and the Borough family. We'll wear that number 7 again on our running vests, and he'll be forever in our thoughts.
It is your 5th challenge, Kev. You've raised over 10 million. How many more have you got in you?
I don't think it's how many more have I got in me. The plan at this moment in time is to do 2 more after this one, all being well. You know, if we get through unscathed, and I'd love for us to do 7. I think, given this has all been built around the number 7, sounds like a great place, not to stop, but to then move on to a different way of fundraising. So I'll never stop fundraising for MND. Like I said, it's time to find 7 of something else, I think, maybe then.
Thanks, Kev. We wish you all the best this week coming up.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you.
What a guy. Be more Kev is what I say. Everyone needs a friend like him, don't they?
Absolutely right. Yeah, definitely. Well, as it just so happens, in fact, the Rob Borough Centre for M&D in Leeds has been announced as one of 49 good causes that will receive saplings grown from the seeds recovered from the felled Sycamore Gap tree. There was national outcry, of course, when the much-loved tree near Hadrian's Wall in Northumberland was cut down last year. Now, seedlings will be given away in what's being called a Tree of Hope project. Very nice too. Right, well, you were cheeky to me, so you can go now. Thank you very much.
Is that me done?
You can bring on. Just go on. Off you go. Thank you very much.
See you, Chris.
Kerry.
It's a relay.
Oh, it's nice to see you.
Hello.
Yeah, are you feeling festive?
No, not until the 1st of December. Why?
Ah, well, we've got something to show you, because this will get you in the mood, I reckon. On the subject of trees, one of our most beautiful minsters has decided to spruce things up.
Yes, Halifax Minster is hosting a Christmas tree festival over the weekend with an invite to local people to decorate them. There's 44 firs, all sponsored for charity. The festival is just one of the events in the run-up to Christmas, which is expected to attract around 15,000 people through the doors, and it's a great place, isn't it? Halifax Minster.
I love those kind of things when you walk around and see all the trees. It's lovely.
A little bit more festive now. Just give it a couple of days and I'll be there. Yeah, there was a beautiful sight this morning in the skies. I don't know if you saw it, if you were up at the right time.
Early enough. Sorry.
We had some great altocumulus clouds. This was just after sunrise, but just before sunrise, uplighting that cloud. Absolutely fantastic sunrise. So a big thank, honestly, inundated with the inbox this morning. So this was Scarborough, this was Cabbage Hill in Leeds. A big thank you to Andy Dennison. It looks like a seascape, doesn't it? But it's actually cloud there in that bottom third of the photograph. Sheffield looking absolutely beaut on the morning commute. And this was York. A big thank you to Nathan. Absolutely lovely. I don't ever think...
I missed it. I missed all of that.
No, and there's never ever a wrong skyscape, I don't think, apart from that stratus cloud that's sort of like, layered and you can't see any texture. But you've got a bit of texture in the cloud. But as if that wasn't wowzer enough. Oh my goodness, there were some lenticular clouds this morning. I saw them developing on my way to work, but oh my goodness, as the sun was rising, look at that. A big thank you to Mandy Allen. Yeah, so it's basically the prevailing winds. If you've got a mountainscape in the way, it comes over the wind and then bounces back at the other side, effectively, creating layered cloud. Absolutely brilliant. They're known as UFO clouds, spaceship clouds, jellyfish clouds, but Altocumulus lenticularis is the official name. There you go.
Thank you. Excellent. OK, well, finally this evening, if live music is something that strikes a chord with you, well, one Leeds band is going above and beyond to highlight the vital role played by local venues.
Well, I'm not seeing the weather forecast, but this is a blast from Guest List, the new single released today by About Faces, who've staved off tiredness and embraced a rock and roll lifestyle to perform a gig in and around the city every night this month.
Yeah, it's like an advent calendar of concerts, isn't it? Tonight they're playing their 29th consecutive gig, and Helen Steele is live at the University of Leeds.
Well, yes, you've got to hope this one's going to be the best, because on your 29th 2 a.m. finish, it's going to be hard work, isn't it? You're going to need it to be good. I'm with the band About Faces now. First question, guys, why?
We just wanted to do something solely for Leeds, give back to the community. A lot of the music industry is sort of London focused, and we wanted to just bring it back home. And it were a bit outlandish, and we're very tired. But yeah, it's been just for the people of Leeds, really, just to cement ourselves there, really.
Amazing, and there are around like 350 venues right now at risk of closure. I mean, that's another reason you're doing it, isn't it, for live venues?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a new government bill that's just recently passed saying that a certain percentage of the larger venues, ticket sales go to smaller venues, but I just don't think it's enough at the moment, yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, there have been some low points, haven't there? I mean, one pub forgot you were coming, you accidentally walked into a slimming class. Tell me more about the low points, Joe.
Yeah, there's been 2 cancellations, and luckily we'd managed to sort it out last minute. I mean, it's been very tiring, obviously, carrying a lot of equipment, playing to some quiet rooms as well.
Your worst moment?
The worst, probably carrying the equipment like all around Leeds up Briggate. That was definitely a painful experience.
I think the cameraman knows about that as well. So amongst us, we've got a supermarket worker, we've got a shoe shop assistant, a pharmacist, and you are a car saleswoman. I mean, how has that been, managing all that?
Pretty tiring, long hours selling cars, but I mean, you've got to do what you've got to do. Like, the music game's pretty saturated, so you've got to work hard to get results at this time, yeah.
Yeah, and have you enjoyed it as well, yeah?
Oh, I've loved it. I mean, sometimes it's a tragedy in the moment, but looking back, it's definitely a comedy.
Amazing. And what's been anyone's favourite moment?
Tonight.
We're Leeds University Student Union, aren't we? Biggest crowd yet, do you think?
Yeah, I reckon so. It's probably the biggest venue that we've played, so yeah.
Amazing. And tomorrow will be your last one. What are you going to do to celebrate?
Sleep, I reckon.
Sleep. I love sleep as well. So on that note, we're going to go.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much, Helen. Live there at the University of Leeds.
Yeah, they've been all over the place, haven't they?
They're doing so well. Good luck for tonight. Good luck for tomorrow night as well to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Now then, let's see what the weather has in store for us over the weekend. Let's join Kerry again.
Today's forecast: seafood and sugar cube towns. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Yes, as we head into the weekend, it is a little bit more unsettled, but certainly not a washout. And a big thank you to all of you for sending photos in this week, especially this morning when that inbox was inundated with those sunrise pictures. Mild and blustery is the spell for the weekend. Drier day tomorrow, but quite a cloudy start. And then sunshine and showery bands from the west as we head into Sunday. So this was the scene so far today, certainly for daylight hours. Northwest, a little bit more cloud, further south and east, the best of the sunshine. But you can see this weather front waiting in the west, and that's going to push its way through overnight. So it leaves a mild but blustery and showery situation as the weekend wears on. But as we head into the new working week, high pressure and a northerly flow once more. So a very chilly night expected by the time we reach the end of Monday. But in the meantime, for this evening and overnight tonight, it's the opposite. Cloud builds from the west, a brief spell of rain pushing eastwards, and then we're left in a fairly mild and moist situation into the early hours. So a lot of mist and murk, and the temperatures rising, possibly in places to double figures by the time we reach dawn. So very sometimes as we head into the weekend, 8 o'clock and 10 to 4. So tomorrow, misty, murky, damp feel to things first thing, but we are expecting the clouds to lift and thin a little bit as the day progresses, so there is an improvement into the afternoon. So bright, maybe a little bit of sunshine, still quite breezy, quite blustery, especially in exposure and over higher ground, but the temperatures are in double figures. And as we head into Sunday, bands of rain, possibly with a little bit more sunshine in between, and still on the mild side, 13.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
There you go, a chilly one again on Monday when I'll
Yeah.
be looking back at autumn, of course.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
you know, looking at all those Christmas trees, it's made me want a mince pie.
Really?
Yeah, is it time for those yet?
If I had one,
It's always time, isn't it? You can have one in summer.
There's nothing, there's everything here, but not a mince pie, sorry.
Have a wonderful weekend. Good night.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.